Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and a very special welcome to brand new author Helen Woo-Duncan. Hi, Helen.
Hello, Miriam.
Hi. Congratulations. It's your book launch day.
Mm. Thank you, thank you. Very exciting.
It is
Very
so
exciting.
exciting. Yes, Helen. Can you share with everybody the title of your book?
Absolutely. The title of the book is Twinkle Twinkle Little Heart.
So perfect. So perfect. Can you share what inspired you to write Twinkle Twinkle Little Heart?
I love that question. And I think the truth is what inspired me was a knowing, an inner knowing that the story needed to be written, needed to be told. It needed to be me. It needed to be now. And listening and trusting that knowing allowed my heart to twinkle and shine and me to be the biggest, brightest version of who I know I am and who I was called to be.
Oh, I love that. I love that answer. Well, I'm so glad you listened to that. And now we have this beautiful book to share with the world. Can you tell everybody what is Twinkle Twinkle Little Heart about and who would you say that it's for?
Yeah, I'm really glad I listened to that to that little voice and knowing too, because it's just been the most incredible journey. So, Twinkle Twinkle Little Heart is a beautiful, enchanting story about two characters who go on these parallel journeys to discover who they really are. And on these journeys, they both face self-doubt, confusion, worry, things we've all faced. And they each, in their unique ways, come out of that that dark that dark place to shine in the light again. So it's really about self-discovery, self-acceptance, faith, and really at the root of it, love. So the two characters, there's a little girl, her name is Sephora, and this is the cover of the book. And this sweet little girl, Sephora, is kind of stuck trying to finish her drawing of a starry night sky in her art class. She doesn't quite know what's missing, but she knows there's something missing. In that moment, she's having an experience different than all the other kids in the class. And there's another character named Blue, and she's a little speck of light in the night sky who's lost her twinkle and shine, and she doesn't quite know why. So I don't want to get too deep in the book. There's some really fascinating plot twists that I loved writing about. But really, it's just about following these characters, and we can see ourselves in them as they go through their journeys and ultimately end up in a place where they discover that the key to shining is really smiling from the inside out. So it's about that inner joy and that authentic happiness that we just can't quite get to when we're not being our true, unique, beautiful, amazing selves.
Yes. Well, you described that very well and a little intriguing for the people watching to go purchase
Mm.
this book. Yes. But I will say I love the parallel of the two characters. I love what they're going through and how they grow throughout it. I really enjoyed the book. Can you tell us what age you would say this book is for?
I would say, and I gave this some thought when I was writing the book, I would say the ages would fall if I had to categorize it in the 6 to 12. But to be very and truly honest, initially when I wrote the words for this book, it was over a year or two ago, and it wasn't in its first draft state a children's book. It was a
Mm.
lot deeper. It was a story of my life, my own personal growth journey, my enlightenments, my learning. So it was written from a higher, deeper place, and it beautifully turned into a children's book. So 6 to 12 is the range, but I definitely know that teens have related to the message, the light, the energy, the love in the book. And I would like to say it's for children of all ages, which includes everybody, because we're all
Yes.
just not children, just different ages, different heights, different places in life, but we are all always going to be that kid, that child, that innate beautiful love that we were born to be.
Hmm. Well, I love how you put that. Totally. I completely understand that. I'm thinking from the perspective of that child who's just learning to read on their own or whose parents are reading the book to them. What is it that you hope that parents and kids will take away from this book?
I'd say probably the greatest wish that I would have for parents and kids to take away from this book would be a sense, like a felt sense, that knowing I talked about earlier that inspired me to write it. Just to feel something as they're reading the words and looking at the pictures together, kind of following the journeys and the little twists and turns. My greatest hope is that what they take away is a knowing that we, parent and child, we are all unique
Mm.
and we are all here to embrace that uniqueness and to express ourselves in that uniqueness. I don't think it's just about knowing, hey, you're unique. I'm unique. That's great. We're all unique. But there's a massive opportunity to own that uniqueness, to become that uniqueness and to express it, like Sephora in her drawing or blue in the night sky. So the biggest
Yes.
hope I have is that they take away that they are unique, they are beautiful, and we're all in some way experiencing the same journey. We all have our great high up days, but we also have those low and darker days where we are struggling and we feel confused and frustrated and uncertain and worried, but that we will always find our way back to the light because we are the light. The light is within us. And there's those
Mhm.
opportunities, and you'll read it through the book. I've sprinkled some health and life coaching tips and messages. There's a beautiful, very simple breath exercise
I
that the
like that.
parent and the child can do together. It's one of the simplest, earliest ones that I learned in my coaching training that can help you just ground back to a state of calm and to relax, quiet all those noises and voices and to just settle back into the body and the truth of who you are. And there, I also included a positive affirmation for parent and child. And it's a
Hmm.
really beautiful, simple, powerful one. Again, it's just all around the message that you are you. You are unique. You are here to do and be nothing else but your awesome, amazing, beautiful self.
So good. And this is such a positive book. Friends, this book is available today on Amazon. So the best thing you could do for your children, your grandchildren, is to give them the joy, all this wisdom in the form of a book that they're going to follow these characters, fall in love with them, and then capture that message for themselves. So go to Amazon today. The book is there in paperback, hardcover, and ebook format. So, Helen, I want to ask you a little bit about your journey into becoming an author. First of all, how long have you been thinking about writing or being an author for?
Honestly,
Yeah.
the true answer is decades.
Yes. Okay.
It's been one of those thoughts, secret, dreams, desires, And sometimes it's like way in the back of the mind, as one of those like, oh, it'd be nice one day to write a book, or and then sometimes it creeps more forward, like, I kind of want to do it. And then sometimes when you get there, you're like, no, 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 I can't do this. So
Not yet, not
it's
yet. Yeah.
been there, just the fascination of it. And I think just the process of it and the experience of it is something that I've always loved and really just wanted to do.
Mhm.
So that's
Well,
the
we're
honest
so,
answer.
yes, we're so glad you've done it now. So I want to ask you a little bit more about that. We know that whenever we do something new, it always comes with lessons and challenges. And we have a lot of aspiring authors who watch our interviews. So the fact that you said a couple of decades doesn't surprise me. A lot of people watching have had this dream for decades. But today, you accomplishing this dream is proof to other people. You can have that dream for decades and make it happen. So, what would you say was, let's talk about challenges first. What would you say was the biggest challenge when writing this book?
I love that question. I feel sort of different things coming up around there, but generally speaking, I would say the biggest challenge for me was staying in the energy of the book. The whole book is about shining your light, embracing your uniqueness, expressing your voice and your truth, and living your dream, and staying in that space, that mindset, that state of being throughout the whole process was a challenge. And I
Mm,
say that because you're right. Anytime we try something new or go after like a dream we've had for decades, there are so many voices that are going to come out that are going to want to hold you back to keep you safe. But I knew that it was time and it was now. So staying in the energy of the book was challenging because there were times that I felt stressed about the deadlines. There's the manuscript process, and then you've got the illustration process, and you've got book design, and then upload, and then you've got marketing. So there's all these wonderful phases throughout the journey, and each one has its incredible opportunities, possibilities, potential. But for me, when I fall out of that state, that energy of joy and inspiration and genuine happiness and gratitude for being able to do all this, like when I fall out of that, it is difficult for me to see all the goodness that's
mm,
available to me. And I know one of the things when I learned this in coaching, I loved it. It's when we're in that inspired state, that state where you're smiling and shining inside out, you have access to so much more possibilities, answers, resources, ideas, creativity. That's where your loving intelligence, your creative genius lives, right? And so when I would get stressed, when that was the bigger part of me, it was very helpful for me to remember the reason, the
mhm,
purpose, the characters, the little twinkly hearts that want to shine. My twinkly heart that wanted to shine. And so I committed actually before I said yes to this whole experience that this was going to be a journey filled with light, filled with joy, filled with love, filled with the most positive energy. Like I committed to bring my best twinkliest self into this entire journey. And having that sort of commitment in place between me and me helped me tremendously in those challenging times when I did get
mhm,
stressed or overwhelmed or uncertain or doubting myself. Because also too, when I was in that space, this is another big thing is you forget that you can have everything that your heart desires. So working with my illustrators and your incredible team, when I was in that sort of disempowered, low, that dark, sort of struggling, confused, self-doubt space, I would forget that these people are here, partners with me to make my dream come true. And so
Yes.
when we're in that challenging space and place, we hold back on
Mm,
what we want or that idea we have. We're like, you know what, that's not good enough. Or, oh, I have an idea. No, I don't. This is a dumb one. I really shouldn't say
yeah.
this. So again, having
Mm.
that commitment and, really choosing in an empowering way to stay in the energy of my characters, of the message. Uh, really held the light in those challenging times.
I'm so glad you shared this. I'm sure there are people watching this thinking, okay, that's me, or this is what I got out of that. And I'll tell you what I got out of it, Helen. I
Hmm.
think, like you said, whenever we embark on something new, especially if it's a dream we've carried for a couple of decades, we are going to lose momentum at times when, there's a lot of work or big decisions that have to be made. But opening our eyes to find the helpers, right? This is why we shouldn't do this alone. The helpers, the people, your team, our team, your illustrator, the people that you've surrounded yourself with, just opening our eyes and coming out to see, oh, there they are. I could just reach out to somebody to help me get out of this little funk to get to the next place. So that's what I got from what you're saying, Helen.
Yeah, I loved how you summed that up. And those little helping hands and the little funk, like it really can become something small that we make so big in our minds, big enough to hold us back on our dreams, right? But when you go
Hmm.
into it with the way that you just sort of described, it makes it very easy for us to choose. And we are always going to choose the light. We're always going to choose the joy and the happiness and the dreams and everything that we're worthy and deserving of, which it's all there. And my illustrators, your team again, it was a very new experience to have these beautiful helpers and helping hands where I would request something or I'd have an idea about something, and the answer was always like, sure, no problem. Yep, can do that
Yeah.
for you. Easy, easy. I'm like, pardon me, I get to have this, and there's a little bit of like kind of like it is a little just kind of like you're not really believing that this is really all possible. It can be this easy, it can be this fun, but the onus really, there's a self-responsibility piece in it that I really felt proud of myself for owning and stepping into,
Mm,
because my illustrators can't give me what I want if I'm not letting them know what it is. And if
right.
I'm letting them
Yes.
know from the place of like, I can't have what I want, I never get what I want, it's totally not going to work out. I'm not cut out for this, or maybe this is a mistake. If I go in with that energy, then, law of attraction, that's what they're going to give me. And then when
Right.
that happens, we turn those beautiful helping hands into people who are just not giving what what we want. They're just not getting it. You know what I mean? And so it's just all along the way,
Yes.
beautiful choices that we get to make.
Yes. Yes. I see a lot of lessons in there. That was going to be my next question. What was the biggest lesson throughout the publishing process? Is there anything you want to add to that? Anything else that comes to mind?
I think the lesson, the learning, maybe just to sum it up, is, and it's simple, but it's true and profound, is that I can have what I want. What I want is already there. And expecting the best outcome gets to be a natural new way for me versus expecting the worst. And
Mm,
so it's all of like my personal growth journey, all of the life coaching trainings, all of your book writing, publishing experience, just wrapped up in the most beautiful book gift. And it's that we can live our dreams. They can come true It's already happening. We just get to step into it and turn it into a reality.
Yes, 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 we can. And we get to live our dreams. I love that, Helen. Well, this has been so inspiring. I want to ask you, I have a couple more questions for you. I see you have two illustrators. What was it like to work with your illustrators? Maybe explain that a little bit.
Yes, I have two amazing illustrators, Esther Gao and Muklas Raman, and it worked perfectly because there are two parallel journeys, and it's almost like a story within a story in my book. And because of that structure that I created, it was perfect to have two very different styles of illustrations in the book.
Mm.
Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted one illustrator to draw in two very different ways. I did consider that. But again, one of the other cool things about this whole journey was that I wanted it to be an enlightened one, a spiritual one, an inspired one. So there were a lot of things that I did that I don't normally do in work projects, which was like just grounding, meditation, prayers, and journaling, really just to call forth every and any divine enlightened resource that could help me bring this kind of powerhouse book to parents and kids. So, two illustrators, two very different styles of drawings, and two different stories. And I would say that getting to work with these two illustrators was probably one of the best experiences in my entire life. And
Great.
it was like, so I might get emotional. I'm not gonna get emotional. But what I mean by that is like I got to work like side by side. There were two overlapping timelines, right? Because there was one phase for illustrations, but I had two illustrators, two timelines, two sets of drawings, and I got to be, this sounds crazy, but I got to be two different versions of me. These two illustrators, their working styles completely different. Both so unique, both so amazing, super talented, but very, very different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in working with each of them, it called forth from me two very different versions, even on a
Interesting.
communication style. Like one could be very detailed, and then the other one could just be more higher level. And it was so fascinating to have one foot in this illustrator's world and another foot in this illustrator's world and be okay with that and still feel balanced and blessed. Sometimes when we have our foot where we want to be and our other foot where we are, it's sort of unbalanced and
Mm-hmm.
unsettling, right? Because you're just sort of like teetering like this and you don't know where you are, you don't know where you belong, you're not fully here, you're not fully there. I didn't want to be. I wanted these two worlds that I got to play in and work with these incredibly talented people who were bringing different parts of my mind and my visions and my dreams to life. And the coolest part was that the cover page was one where they came together.
Oh, nice.
So their worlds um, came together, and these two beautiful illustrator humans came together. So, where we were having separate emails and separate meetings and separate Zooms, right? We were now in like a what's up group chat. And we were, and the love was just getting bigger and brighter.
Oh,
And the
that's
light,
great.
yeah, we were just kind of lighting each other up. So, you know what? It was a bit challenging. One was in Spain and one was in Pakistan. I'm in Toronto, so the time zones were all kind of over the place, but it just worked.
Oh,
With not so much, if it was just me project managing my corporate stressed out crazy self in the past, I would have just probably lost my mind throughout that process. But this new one with the energy of positivity was like very open and flexible and willing and curious. And
mm-hmm.
when that happened, this magic gets to
And
But I,
truly, you said you called it a powerhouse book, and I'm going to agree with that. This is a beautiful book, and now knowing a little bit more about how these two illustrators came to be, how you put in, all of it, I can imagine that the book designer had a lot to do with that, bringing the illustrations together. But truly, just a beautiful book. So if you're curious about it, if you want to read this book to your children, you know what to do. Go to Amazon and grab it. It's just outstanding. It's a powerhouse kind of book. Um, Yes. And Helen, I'm wondering, what is the best part of accomplishing this 2 decade or so dream for you?
I think the best part is being able to now share it in a tangible way with children
Mhm.
and parents and families and myself and my kids and my husband. It's turned into this incredible family journey. But really, the best part of it is, when you think about positivity and mindset and inner joy and dreams, and those are those are non-physical, those are invisible, right? Like I can tell you my dreams, I can share my ideas, but everything changes, at least I think, when you have a book that you can hold and see and touch and love. And it's a way for me to be able to gift to all these kids and parents and probably my own inner child
Hmm.
this um, book of love.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. And okay, so now I'm thinking about our viewers, those aspiring authors who are watching, who are thinking, I want to do that too, but maybe they're feeling stuck or they've had that dream and it's kind of fizzled down. What advice do you have for an aspiring author today?
I think the advice I would like to share with aspiring authors is this. If there's a call, an idea, a thought, a dream, if something is calling you to write a book, to be an author, to share your story, bring your message to the world, publish a book, whatever it is, that comes from somewhere and something beyond just you. You see, you didn't just hear those calls to suffer, like, and to struggle and torment and to feel hurt and not good enough. Like that came to you for a reason. And that reason is for you to answer the call, embrace it, lean into it. Whatever feelings come up for you, it's normal. It's part of the process. It's the juice. It's the energy that's going to go into your book, your pictures, your words, whatever it is. It is an adventure that you're being called to. So pay
Mm,
attention to it. Listen to it. Maybe just, don't brush it off like you might have done. I did that. Just try to kind of silence and quiet those noises. No, there's other ones we should work on silencing and quieting, but not that one. Listen to it. It's almost like a little precious child bringing to you the exact message that you need to hear for your heart to feel loved
mm,
and happy, and understanding that it's coming to you in the form of those desires and ideas and dreams. So
mhm,
tend to it and know for sure, 1,000,000,000% that this is not a solo journey. it is, however you take your author journey, that's up to you. But for me, working with you, Miriam, and your team and my illustrators, not at any point did I truly feel like I was alone and that it was all up to me and it was all on my shoulders. Like, no, it was just opening myself up to seeing beyond what I used to see into a world of amazing possibilities that got to reveal themselves to me because I said yes.
Hmm. Hmm. That's where
So
it starts.
listen, love it, tend to it, care about it, know you're not alone, and then see what else that voice tells you.
Perfect. So good. Such good advice. Okay, Helen, besides going to Amazon, we want everybody going to Amazon today, but where else can they find you?
So you can find me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Just look up Helen Woo-Duncan, and also website helenwooduncan.com. And yeah, if this message or this interview resonated with you in any way and you are curious, I just know whoever you are, wherever you are, our paths will cross. And I do hope if you get the book that you just allow yourself to feel the love.
So good. So good. Friends, go to Amazon and then also go find Helen on her social media. And Helen, before we go, I always like to end with this. Is there anything else you wish I would have asked you or anything you want to share?
I think you asked everything perfectly and beautifully. I think you're amazing. I really enjoyed this connection and opportunity to talk with you. And I think the only one other thing I would want to end with is just um, echoing the message of the book is that we are all created to be exactly who we are. It is unique, it is amazing, it is beautiful. And I just wish everybody the most incredible journey to discover that for themselves.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you, Helen, for the interview, and thank you for writing Twinkle Twinkle Little Heart. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.